All right. It is an honor to be with the preeminent Kevin Patullo.
I know. I didn't even like the hire. It's crazy. I didn't even like the hire.
You really did. You were like, nope, outside voice.
And it also has looked exactly like my fear is. So I didn't like it. I looked how I looked. And I think we're overrating his impact. But maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. Because I think this was look, it's been a tough year.
5-man front talk.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a tough week for Patullo. I think this is the toughest we get. This is the first time reporters were asking Nick Sirianni if he was going to fire Kevin Patullo. Nick Sirianni actually got asked that question this week. Obviously, he said he was not going to. But not just that. It wasn't just that reporters asked the question. It's that people I respect were saying, like Reuben Frank, who I respect the hell out of. Like Reuben is
I was surprised to hear
covered and forgotten more about the Eagles than we ever will, And he was like, I don't know how you don't make a change here. I was shocked. And people like that. People where it's like, I wouldn't expect them to say it. It's like, whoa, right. Because I wasn't there. I didn't even think about moving on from Patullo. Like, it wasn't even something that entered my mind, especially after 2023. It's like, we've seen how that works, but even still, tough week for Patullo down there. Look, the 5-man front thing, and let's get into it. I do think the 5-man front is a fair criticism of them. I mean, and I know Landon Dickerson clarified it. Yeah. So for Landon Dickerson, for those who didn't hear, Landon Dickerson after the game came out and said that they saw a lot of 5-man fronts and they just weren't expecting. Essentially, paraphrasing it down, there was a longer, more complicated answer. They knew about it, but they didn't, whatever. And basically, Dallas, Jay Glazer in the pregame show had said, hey, Dallas loves the 5-man front. They're going to run it. They ran it in the last game against the Raiders. The key being the first game after the trade for Quentin Williams. So I know you had 10 other games, but the only game where Quentin Williams is a Cowboy, they ran 5-man fronts. Like, you got to be prepared for that. Like, that's on Kevin Patullo. That's on Nick. Like, that is, I don't care that they have a million other things. Like, you can't have players coming out and being like, wow, I can't believe they ran a 5-man front of us. Yeah. Like that. And again, I do not think Patullo should be fired. I have talked all year about, I think he's done a bad job. Like, flat out, I think he's done a bad job this year. And I think Nick, from an offensive perspective, has not done a great job this year.
I mean, no one on the offense.
No one has.
Other than like
right? No one has. And I do think that, Jaws had a great way of explaining this. One of the most succinct ways to talk about it, something we know, but he put it, he's like, the Eagles don't run complicated football. Their whole thing, and he said, I think Sirianni, when he came here, said, I want to have my football team be a team that executes.
Yeah.
And
we've talked about
We've talked about this a million times. Beats the team across it, and that's it. Like that. But the problem this year is they're not doing that. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, you have to find ways to put your players in better positions to be successful, do different things. The 5-man front thing, that concept of like, I get this is what you do, but it's not working. Change it. Where are you at with this whole thing?
So the 5-man front thing is definitely a bad.
It's a bad. Like, there's no other side to it.
Like, flat out. And the best analogy I could use is it would be like if the Celtics traded for Anthony Edwards and the Sixers prep for the Celtics based off the past 2 years, as opposed to like it just doesn't make sense.
You're right,
like, and now to be clear, I'm sure the Eagles prep for 5.
Of course, and Landon Dickerson clarified that last night. But
even in their defense of it, they have argued we spent time on it, but it was not the majority of what they've done.
Yeah, they basically made it clear we focused way more on the first 10 games than the last.
Right. Now, you could argue that because they had only done it a little bit, maybe they weren't going to do it a lot in this game because they haven't run it a ton and you're not as comfortable with it. Like, I get all that. But when a team acquires Quentin Williams and they did it in the last game, like, it's a bad look. I don't know what else. Like, maybe this is the best way to put it. The Eagles made a bet and the bet was wrong.
Oh, but flat out, yeah.
They bet that they would not run as much 5-man front because it was new, and that did not happen. They ran it a ton. So the preparation for this game was not good, and there is no explaining it.
And I will say that this is not the first time this season that we have heard players say stuff like this. So we had no idea what they were going to throw out. They did something they haven't done, and I get, like, teams don't show something. It shows the coach's job. In essence, is what are they going to do and how can I come in ready to beat it? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what they've shown, whatever. Like, that's on the coaches. Like, you got to know what's coming.
The Eagles have talented players. Let's not act like they have the most talented roster.
Just go beat anybody. Exactly.
Well, and they keep leaning on this idea of unscouted looks, and I get it.
That's my point.
But
they keep bringing this stuff back.
Yeah, like, you can't tell me. I mean, maybe they are, that you're getting still this late in the season exotic, different defensive looks every week.
Every defense isn't changing their defense completely every week. Like, no way.
Right. I agree. So, yeah, I mean, the unscouted look thing is getting tiring. The 5-man front thing is a bad look. I agree with that fully. And if they fired Kevin Patullo or stripped him of his play calling, there is no defense for him. Like, what's the argument? Like, if they got rid of him, the only argument I could see where it's like, this is a bad call is
give him time.
Is doing it in season. And to be fair, like
giving him time.
It's his first year. Yeah. It's a different challenge than Kellen Moore and Steichen faced. Yeah.
In season, and he deserves time to learn on the job a bit. You know?
Now, to a man, the players will defend Kevin Patullo. They will. Like, they just will. And people can say it doesn't matter. I'm just letting you know when.
I don't know how much it matters. Like, I don't think it doesn't matter completely, but I also think they might like him. And I think that they're humans. You know what I mean? And
I'm just saying.
Like, I interviewed Kevin Patullo before the season. He was charming. He was wonderful. I really enjoyed talking to him. Like, they might like him a lot, and they might not know better than to blame. Whatever. The point is like, them defending Kevin Patullo doesn't do that.
Well, but I think one of the reasons they like him is because during the week they feel confident in what they're going to do on Sunday.
My point, but it's been wrong. And also my point is more that, like, I think we see,
but I don't know if
here's my thing. I think a lot of times, like, players don't know what's best for them. And that's where coaches come in, and coaches have to put, like, it's like the type of thing where it's like, if a guy's hurt and he wants to play, sometimes you gotta be like, bro, listen, you're not allowed to play. I'm sorry. I'm not letting you play because, like, no matter what you want, like, sometimes coaches have to figure out what's best for the players and do that.
Mm-hmm.
The players might not realize that Kevin Patullo is not helping them or whatever. They might like him. They might think, to the AJ Brown point. Like, I don't think AJ Brown has come to grips with where he is physically right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not the same player physically was 2 years ago. I think we can all agree on that, right? Like,
yes.
I don't think that AJ Brown knows that. I don't think that AJ Brown understands and has come to grips with the fact that he can't do this. That's where coaching comes in. That's where a coach has to put him in position to be successful, because he can't succeed the way he thought he used to be able to. But so my point, I'm saying we don't know better. I'm just saying it is possible that Patullo does what the players want him to do, but it's not what he should be doing. So, you know what I mean?
But all that being said, I do think we've seen enough this year that with, like, if Jalen hits Devontae wide open against the Giants, things are different. If there's no Fred Johnson penalty against the Cowboys,
of course.
If Jalen doesn't fumble the ball,
those are individual mistakes for maybe you win a game that you lost because of it. But it's not like the offense was humming if those things work. So it's not like we look at it and be like, wow, this offense looks great if those 3 or 4 or 5 plays go the other way.
Well, but I would push back on that a little and say against the Packers, like, if Jalen doesn't fumble in the red zone, they probably score a touchdown there. If Jalen hits Calcaterra, who's wide open.
But again, these are a few times. No, we know that they have.
But it's every game, is the point I'm making is so.
But it's like 1 or 2 plays every game. Yes, we're talking about 3 and outs, leading the league in 3 and outs.
Agreed. Yeah. But what I mean is, I think they are not as far away from being a really good offense.
I don't disagree with that.
And so when that the point I'm making is he is, to a degree, putting them in position to make plays. They're not making the plays, right? And so
yes and no.
Well,
again,
go
back to the thing I said before that Jaws was talking about, the idea of, like, their philosophy is my guy will beat their guy. Like, I don't have to put him in a better position because he will beat them. If they can't beat them, you got to put him in a different position. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't disagree with you on that. I would also say it's probably hard in season to completely shift your offense and playbook.
Oh, I understand that.
Right, but I'm saying they probably went into the year. But to be fair,
we did see the Eagles win a Super Bowl doing that. Nick Foles came in and they said, all right, we're going to change what we do because of what you're more comfortable with, and they won a Super Bowl. So, like, I'm just saying you can do things.
Yeah. Now, we agree AJ has lost a step, right? And obviously Saquon's not been Saquon. I mean, they still do have talented players. And I think Nick's philosophy has obviously worked, right? So again, offense is bad. I don't think they're going to strip Patullo of play calling.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I think is.
Now, I will say, I think if it did happen, it would not be Nick's decision. I don't think
I disagree.
No, I'm saying that I think Nick would go along. I think it would be because Jeffrey and Howie said you have to do this, and he'd be like, okay, I'll go along with it. I don't think Nick is thinking I got to get rid of Patullo.
I don't think anyone in the building.
I don't think, but my point, like, I don't think Nick would get rid of him this year. I think there's a chance if they lose 2 more games, it looks awful, where Jeffrey Lurie steps in and be like, you got to do this.
I mean,
look, we know the last time it was owner driven.
My guess is
front office.
Obviously, they're not going to bench Jalen.
And ultimately, we know that, like, Howie and Jeffrey control this team and run this team. Like, Nick has a lot of say and a lot of power, but Jeffrey and Nick are in charge. We know that.
Agreed. Well, Jeffrey and Howie, you mean? But
that's what I meant. Jeffrey and Howie. Excuse me.
But I will say they let Nick hire Kevin
right after winning the Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying so maybe he does have more power than we think. Maybe is all I'm saying.
Like, I don't know.
I just think if you asked everyone in the building, if you asked players, and coach, well, obviously coaches wouldn't count, but if you asked players and like some of the front office people, who do you think's more to blame for the offense being the way it is, Patullo or Jalen? I think more people would say Jalen. And they're not, I'm not saying my opinion, your opinion, like the pod's opinion. I'm just saying that when we talk, like when the outside world is like Patullo, I just don't think that's how they view it. And it might be wrong.
I don't think it's as strong as that. I agree with you. I think people only putting on Patullo or mistake. I think like, obviously there's a lot of different reasons. The offense, honestly, I think the offensive line is the single biggest reason at the end of the day. I think the offensive line has been the biggest thing that has hurt this up. If the offensive line were healthy and better, I don't think we would be as angry and upset and all that stuff. So I think there's a lot of reasons.
Patullo thing too, in the way that if we're going to
play to your guys.
No. I'm saying if we're going to say Patullo's not doing a good enough job, it is really hard to be an offensive coordinator of a team that has a bad offensive line, skilled players.
I know. I'm saying that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying there's a lot of things to go around. I think that the O-line is the biggest reason. That's why I'm taking that off Jalen and Patullo in that sense. But that doesn't mean that Patullo hasn't done a bad job. I think he's done a bad job.
The results are the results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
and even eye test wise, like watching the games, we've talked about this all year. Like, I never go, wow, cool. Like, it's so rare where I'm like, cool play, or
and
what a cool
disappointing that they've not been better out of the bye. Like this team, this team really leans on how good they are at self-evaluating and how productive the buys are.
Well, and that's the problem. It's across the board. I think that's the thing with this. Like, it feels like a lot of kind of pounding your head against the wall, like where it's just like, all right, we're just going to keep doing this thing, even though it's not working.
And also, I know that when you lose, everything gets tinted with negative view but like when I rewatched the game, even the 21-0 lead did not look as impressive as it felt in the moment. Like the throw to Devontae was not a good throw. Devontae made a great catch. They were going to punt on their second drive. They get the punter thing. Like, so I'm not trying to like dismiss it, but they were not like, I don't know if the offense at the beginning I feel better about it than I did how they won against Dallas the first time, because he was just running around the first game. This one, I do think they passed it better. But when I rewatched it, I didn't come away thinking, wow, that offense was freaking going. Yeah, like I didn't feel that way. So they were still good. They scored 21 points, obviously. But it is concerning that this offense is not playing well. And, I've said this before on the pod, but like you see the Eagles play on Sunday, they don't play great. And then through the week, you talk yourself into it. And then by Saturday, you're like, they're going to win. I'm probably not there yet in terms of convincing myself they'll beat the Bears. But I do think we should all remember how we felt watching this offense the past 3 weeks. And it is not an offense I think you can believe.
I don't think that the offense is going to get much better or anything like that. And look, we haven't talked about much, but I do like. I think it's nonsensical to say that Saquon hasn't lost a step this year. Like, I just do. He obviously has. It is so clear that he is a diminished player, and I think he'll be better next year. Like, this happens.
I don't know if he will be.
He might not. But I'm saying, an interesting decision. Let's put it this way: I have more faith that it'll be better this year than I do will be better the rest of this season.
I could see that, I guess, because he has time off.
Yes,
I mean, I'd be curious to know how it works with.
So usually the guys who are really great running backs who have a big year and drop off can come back and be good again. Like, we've seen that. So I just think it's too much. I mean, 482 carries last year. That's our touches. I mean, that's a lot of touches.
Can I make one more coaching point? Like, I think we would all agree Jeff Stoutland is an unbelievable coach, right? And no one questions Stoutland. This year, the two worst parts of the team have been the running game and the offensive line. And I think that is the indication that it's not the coaching, because we know Stoutland's a great coach. Like, if you do like a science experiment, you have the one that is great.
But I like, again, Jeff could be having a bad year. I think Sirianni's not. I don't think Nick Sirianni has been as good a coach this year as he was last year.
I think everyone on the offense has been bad. So but I think Patullo.
I think again, we argue coaching for players not so much. It's probably like 60-40 or 55-45. It's probably pretty close one way or the other. You know what I mean?
The only defense I'm saying is, and again, I'd be fine if they got rid of Patullo. But like, I do think, and I guess it's because he's new at the job, but if we're going to agree everyone's having a Super Bowl hangover, then I don't think it's fair to pull Kevin out and say, well, he's bad at his job. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I just think he is. I think the thing with Patullo and
like he was on the Super Bowl staff,
but I think part of it is that, like, yes, but he wasn't a play caller. And I think that part of it is that we've seen all these other guys have success, and we've never seen Patullo do it. Like, as a play caller, he's never had success before. Yeah. He's only been bad for us. So, like, I think that's going to, of course, I've never seen this guy be good. Why would I believe he's good? He's never been a good play caller before.
Yeah, I agree. Now, yes, I would agree with that.
You know what I mean?
some semantics to that, but yes, I agree.
Of course, but
Yeah.
I'm
Why
I'm
does
not
it mean
just
like
that.
he
No, I'm
was
not saying
involved last year?
semantics. Yeah, but I'm talking about how people view him.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
for fans.
He's the new name.
Yeah, and not just that. He's a new name who comes in with zero positive like credibility. He was on the staff. Lots of guys are on the staff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes,
Yeah, but
his number, but he's not doing anything we could see on game day. Like, the point is, like, I didn't know what Kevin Patullo looked like until I interviewed him.
I agree.
I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't
Right.
know. I could not pick him out of a lineup, and he was on the staff for 4 years. So that's my point.
Right, but I think
I'm saying, yes, he was involved, but not for us, for fans. Like,
right,
he was
no,
not.
So I understand why fans feel the way they do, but I think that's wrong. They can feel that way, and I think like it's almost like when the Eagles draft someone in the 4th round that I never heard of, and I go, well, I don't know who that guy is. It can't be a great pick, right? Like, I agree, Patullo was not front and center, but Patullo.
I'm just saying it adds to how people feel about him. There's no good. There's nothing. But Saquon hasn't looked that good this year, but he was great last year.
No, I know,
but
but to a certain degree, that's just being like willfully ignorant's not the right term, but like we know Patullo was on the staff helping out. He was the right-hand man. So
but again, he wasn't the play caller.
No, I know, but he was still on the staff and the passing game coordinator and Nick's right-hand man. So like he has accomplished things that have helped the Eagles be good. Like, he has.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
just
no one looks at it that. My point is,
I know, but that's a wrong way to look at it.
I guess. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think yes, he deserves credit for his accomplishments, but that doesn't mean that he'd be a good play caller. Like, one doesn't mean
no,
the other.
I know, but I'm saying that everyone,
like with Nick,
everyone's
Nick's having as good a year, but at least we can look back at last year and be like, Nick was a superstar last year. Like, Patullo's just bad. Like, all we have in the job we see him in is bad. That's it. I know that he was part of the staff, but we don't like. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I get why people view it that way.
Yeah,
100%. Like, I get that.